the town proclaimed, "Yes, we're witnesses, and we agree with your decision." And the plan actually was completed a little bit later on. We see about verse 13 that Boaz took Ruth for his wife, and later she conceived and bore a son to him. And the son in verse 17 was named Obed. And down toward the end of that chapter, we're told, now this is the genealogy. You go all the way back to the ancestor named Perez. Perez begot Hezron. Hezron begot Ram. Ram begot Aminadab. Aminadab begot Nahshon. Nahshon begot Salmon. Salmon begot Boaz. There we are. Salmon was Boaz's father. And Boaz begot Obed. Now here's the rest. Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. There's the lineage. The grandfather of David was this Obed, the son of Ruth and Naomi. Later on we come to the book of Matthew, and Ruth is included in that lineage as the one who brought Obed into the line of Jesus. So a lot of interesting things that we can learn from this. Remember too what was happening here. During this time period, it was such a dark period in Israel's history. We studied the book of Judges earlier, and it was just a series of events where the Israelites would fall away into idolatry and cry out for help, and God would send a judge or deliverer to take them back to where they should be. They'd be okay for about 40 years, and then they'd go back into idolatry again. Just a cycle of evil and wickedness. In fact, that's what we read earlier. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. So it kind of stands out even more that people like Ruth and Boaz and Naomi held up God's way. They stood up for what was right in those dark and somber times. Well, they are a good example, aren't they? And what we would say this very afternoon, may their example of character encourage us so that we will do what's right even when we live among people who seem to be a little different from those back in the days of the judges. What are people like today around us? Everyone's doing what's right in his own eyes, aren't they? And we may be the very ones to hold up a good example of character and moral courage and doing what's right in the face of a culture that has difficulty. I hope you've enjoyed this study of the book of Ruth. I have. I've learned some things, and I would suggest maybe if you're working out a deal with somebody, maybe keep your sandal handy. You might want to toss it over to them at the right time, or you might encourage your daughter to find some nice pair of feet to lay down beside. But in the end, it's interesting because it shows us what can be accomplished when God's way is followed. You don't have to understand all the history and all the details of it, but when we know how God expects things to go, and we follow that, then success is what happens. Ruth's a good example of that. We hope that you'll take this opportunity this afternoon to consider the question in our song we're going to sing, number 347, who will follow Jesus? Who will stand for the right is one of the lines in this song. Standing for the right. That's what we're about. Will you be the one who stands for the Lord? If not, where will you be standing? And do changes need to be made now so that you're standing in the right place? We'd encourage everyone to consider how this applies to you and me, and if you